Good morning, Facebook. So today I'm recording video 23 of 25 in the mental health awareness challenge that I took on. And once again, thank you, my friend, Reverend Victoria Lawrence, for inviting me onto the challenge. So as I did say, I will be talking about something that we can all take action on today to improve our mental health. And it's something that affects us all. So this is a video that you can recommend to a friend. This is a video that you can share. This is a video you can share with your friends on social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. Just let's spread the word because it's something that we can actually do to to improve our mental health. So today's theme is stress and mental health. And to start with, what exactly is stress? Stress is one of those type of words that everybody uses now and again, and it's all bounced around, and everybody has their own peculiar meaning or personal meaning that they give to it. But really, what is stress? What are the other words that we can use for stress? It's a state of feeling overwhelmed. It's a state of feeling that one cannot cope. And the dictionary says stress is a condition that is associated with feelings of physical and mental strain. So it's a condition associated with feelings of physical and mental strain, such as depression and hypertension, and it usually results from when a person feels that they are unable to cope or that they feel threatened. So they perceive that they are unable to cope and they feel threatened, and as a result, they begin to have features of physical and mental strain in their body. That's simply what it is. So basically, it's when you are facing a situation in which either because of the internal or external demands on you, you perceive that you're not able to cope, that the internal and external resources that you have to cope with the internal and external pressures that you are facing is not sufficient. That's simply what stress is. Now, the question is, what are the causes of stress? There are so many of them. To start with, what is stress to Mr. A might not be stress to Mr. B. So what I would take in my chin and just handle like I'm on a walk in the park might be something that is going to floor somebody else and make them stay awake all night. Whereas something else that other people would take in their chin and in their strides without really bathing an eyelid about might be something that I would feel really very worried about and lose sleep over. So that's something else to recognize. What are the things that cause stress? Like I said, is any situation that makes us perceive. And I think the word perception is very important here. It's a perception that we're not able to cope. So it could be a new situation, a new job. It could be problems with family life. It could be even maybe commuting to work. It could be stress in relationships. And also it could be positive things, moving homes, taking on a new responsibility at work, a promotion, having a baby. Postnatal depression among men is now something that is being constantly talked about because people have always assumed that having a new baby in the home is a woman's challenge. But men may also find that challenging, particularly if it's a first-time dad. So there are several things that could cause stress, money worries, relationship worries. All of those could actually cause stress. And what exactly happens when somebody feels stressed? What happens is that when the body encounters stressful situations in which the mind or the self feels threatened, the body releases certain hormones or chemicals into the bloodstream. And these are hormones or chemicals that are released into the bloodstream to either make us fight or flight. So it either makes us fight or fly, basically to fight back, to respond, or to run away. So that's the typical fight or flight response that people talk about. And that's a good thing because it helps. It also helps us it also triggers the immune system to rise up to the challenge that we are facing. It's a good thing because if you are facing a job interview, for instance, or you are going to give a speech to a large crowd, or you are going to run a marathon, or you are going to do something very important that you really need to muster all your energy, both emotionally and physically, the fight-flight response might be a good thing because it will help you to rise up to the challenge. But then it becomes a problem when it's permanent or chronic. And that's where the challenge comes from, because there are people who are almost always in the fight flight mode. Their body is almost always in the fight flight mode. The implication of that is that those chemicals, that state of our alertness begins to wear the body and the mind and the brain out. And that's when all the other problems result in terms of depression, anxiety, high blood pressure. Stress has been associated with a lot of physical and mental health problems. In terms of physical health problems, we know inflammatory bowel syndrome, for instance, inflammatory bowel disease, which is a condition in which the bowels behave in an irritable way. People have very erratic bowel motions with pains. Their bowels are basically unpredictable. We also do know that a lot of heart disease is associated with chronic stress. Also, what we do know that obesity, for instance, is associated with chronic stress, and also a lot of cancers have been linked with lifestyle, a lot of them related to chronic stress. So really, chronic stress is not good. It's bad news. It's something that if we can do something about, we should. So what are the features that make you feel that make you know that you are stressed? One of them, the physical features, people may have headache, they might have feeling tension in their muscles, in their necks, all over their bodies. There might be diarrhea, for instance. There might be irritability. There might be palpitations. The heart is always racing. They might feel like they're breathing very fast. The sleep might be disturbed. Usually, rather than if it's depression, it will be waking up too early in the morning. If it's anxiety, it will be staying awake, worrying at night and not being able to go to sleep. There might be poor appetite. The memory might go. There might be difficulty with concentration. Work performance will usually go down. Productivity will go down. People might begin to feel withdrawn or aloof. The people who are in your life will begin to notice that things are not particularly right because you are there but not there. So those are features that might tell us that that somebody is stressed. You might also find that emotionally somebody can become very edgy and irritable. They can become angry, they can become tearful, they can become frustrated easily. And interestingly as well, hair loss has been associated with chronic stress. People just begin to lose hair for no apparent reason. So these are features that people experience with a chronic stressful state. So, and of course, what we do also find is that people turn to unhelpful coping mechanisms. People can start gambling, they can start smoking, they can start drinking, they can start using illicit drugs, or they can even start using indiscriminate sex to try and sort of deal with the stress that they're experiencing. So for stress, what we do know is that stress, as I've said, is the feeling of not being able to cope. Anxiety is a response to stress. So stress is the feeling of not being able to cope, and sometimes the mind responds by feeling anxious, feeling overwhelmed, and feeling angry. Now, how do you manage stress? I think a very simple way to look at it is to use the W's. You know those famous 5W questions. So W1, what? What exactly is causing your stress? And that's something that is very important because sometimes people are stressed and they don't even know. They can't put their hands on exactly what the cause of the stress is. So sit down and reflect. Try and sit down, take some time out and to really catch yourself and have a reflective moment. What exactly is causing me to be stressed? Because the reality is that, do you know that sometimes we're in a foul mood and we don't even remember what got us going? It might just be that drive to work when somebody caught you in your path, or somebody made you slam on your brakes suddenly and you became angry. And throughout that day, your mood just continues to go on a downward toll. And one thing leads to the other, and it's just like a snowballing effect. So is it money worries? Is it relationship problems? What exactly is causing your stress? You must name it. You must identify it. The next thing is, what can I do? What in your lifestyle can you change? And I want us to think about the use of your time, the use of your talent, the use of your treasures, and your tasks. If you look at those domains, you may actually be able to see the things that you need to change. And I want to speak particularly to ministers of the gospel today. I want to speak to people who are leaders. I want to speak to people who have responsibility for others. Sometimes we are overcommitted. Let's face it. Sometimes we need to be saying no when we are saying yes, and that can be stressful. So one of the things we need to look at is really how much are we taking on? And what I say to you, I say to myself as well. How much are we taking on? We need to look at our diaries and really be sure that we are not overcommitting ourselves, because it will eventually lead to stress. What are the things that you can delegate? What are the things that you can give to others? What are the things that you can commit to other people rather than just take them all by yourself? So, and then the next question is, where can I get support? So what can you delegate? What can you shelve? Who can you speak to? Yeah, I think I'm also speaking, I really want to direct this to ministers today. One of the other challenges that ministers have is that ministers have no confidence. There's quite a lot of research coming out of where they study the population of Christian leaders, and they found that a lot of them actually say they don't have any confidence in their lives. They don't have any accountability partners. That's bad news, because it's associated with burnout, it's associated with depression, it's associated with character flaws, it's associated with major failings. So that's something you can do to try and find an accountability partner in your life, to try and find somebody who is a confidant, somebody that you can really tell the way it is rather than put on masks. Now, the next thing is, so you can also get support from friends and family. Sometimes as well, taking on new hobbies can help. Volunteering, shifting your attention from yourself onto other people has actually been known to be of very positive impact on stress management and on managing stress. Little things that you can do, such as eating your eating habits, eating regularly, planning meals, eating healthy as well. We do know that physical health problems, compounding mental health problems with stress is not very good. Exercise. I know it looks like I've become an advocate or an evangelist of exercise in all these videos, but that's because it's so proven to be of benefit. A 10-minute walk, a 15-minute walk. Exercise is something that I've incorporated into my life one way or the other. Sometimes during my lunch hour, rather than sit down and eat my food at my desk, I actually go on a walk. I just want to clear my head. It's so beneficial. When you exercise, you stimulate the release of happy chemicals in your brain, and in fact, some of those happy chemicals, the impact that they have on the brain has been associated, or has been likened to the effect of cocaine on the brain or cannabis on the brain. In fact, exercise is known to also trigger certain chemicals that actually make you feel good. So it's important. Exercise cannot be overemphasized. And then watch out for drinks. So alcohol is not good for dealing with stress. Caffeine drinks, I spoke about that yesterday. You can look at the video, or 2 days ago. You can look at the video on sleep. Caffeine drinks, cigarettes, smoking, all of those might cause a short-term relief, but long-term they are very damaging. So there are things to run away from. And of course, street drugs are not very good, as I've always said. The other thing is to try and create me time for yourself. You see, that's also, I'm also speaking to ministers today. I think ministers are going to think you are my brother, so I'm sure you would bear with me today. I'm one of you. So, but the reality is that ministers are also guilty of not having any me time. People who are in leadership, people who are in Christian leadership or leadership in any sphere of society. Sometimes we are so driven and so carried away by meeting the needs of others that we don't really think about meeting our own needs, having me time, going for a spa, going for just treating yourself, just taking a weekend break off where the phone is turned off, you're not on social media, you are just chilled out, you just want to relax, you just want to go away from the maddening crowd and just recharge your batteries. And you see, if you're in leadership, you hold yourself first, your family second, and also the people that you serve the responsibility of taking care of yourself. Because if you don't, you will burn out, and if you burn out, you'll be no good to anyone. And of course, primarily also you hold God that responsibility, because if you are going to fulfill your purpose here, then your body and your mind needs to remain intact. And one of the ways you can do that is to constantly take time out to recharge your batteries. So me time is very important. The other thing is getting a good sleep, and the sleep video is sleep video 22. So please do have a look at that as well. And of course, self-care in terms of really being aware of what's going on in your life, being aware of what's going on in your mind, being thoughtful, being reflective, really paying attention to what's going on, the the self-talk that is going on in your mind. That's subtle recording, that's subtle playing, that's subtle commentary that is always playing at the back of your mind. Paying attention to that, and of course mindfulness. And I want to qualify that very quickly. I'm not talking about any sort of Eastern religion, meditation, or any sort. Yeah, there are people who do that, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm actually talking about is that being aware of your environment, smelling the flowers, appreciating colors, appreciating smells, appreciating textures, really engaging with life, really appreciating the beauty of life. For instance, in the UK now is autumn. Autumn is a season when the colors begin to change. We begin to have the browns and the shades of yellows and the shades of the autumn colors. Really driving to work and appreciating that. Going on a walk and appreciating that. Smelling the aroma of autumn. Just really, and whatever it is, just touching sand and really appreciating the beauty of what God has done in creating humanity. Just engaging with life in a different way and appreciating the little things of life can actually be also very helpful in managing stress. So I really do hope that that has been of benefit to you today. And please, let's get the conversation going. Stress is something that is very, very important to talk about. We all need to be talking about it. We all need to be looking at ways of managing it. So please share with us, how do you manage stress? How do you create your me time? What do you do to relax? What do you do to recharge your batteries? And tomorrow, I will be talking about social media and mental health. And that will be video 24. And video 25, I'll be talking about thinking, thoughts, and mental health. And those two next videos are ones that I really want to point to, because I do feel that they will be things that could really affect people's life in a very positive way. Once again, I'm really so grateful that you listen to these videos, you give feedbacks, you send messages, and that you're engaging with them. Do have a most wonderful day.